Yeehaw! Welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed channel. It's your favorite cowboy, Mathe Pillmore. No, I'm kidding. We're out here at the short-term rental, guys. I was warning Michael yesterday when we were hanging out here that I'm going to start turning weirder and weirder every weekend he comes to visit. I've been out here for 10 days straight, 11 days straight now. Frankly, I don't even want to go back to the city. I love it so much. We've got a ton of privacy. This house is sitting on 5 acres, and man, guys, I think it's a gold mine. I really do. I want to keep reminding you guys that are getting discouraged or not sure whether or not it's a good fit for you, or just not thinking that right now is the perfect time to buy, that we went out and looked at one house, guys, this house. This is the only house that we looked at before we made this purchase, and I am confident and going to prove to you guys that we can pull over $10,000 a month in income from just one rental property. That is not the purpose of today's video. That's just where we are and why I look scruffy and why I'm wearing this silly hat. But the purpose of the video is really to talk about another of what I think is the limited options in real estate investing right now, where you can make big money. I think it's way too risky to be out fixing and flipping with so much uncertainty in the marketplace. I think the economy is volatile. Everybody that I have an opportunity to speak with seems to agree that nobody really has any flipping idea what's going to happen next. No pun intended. But if you're thinking about flipping, you're going to put a lot of money on the line. And if by chance the market decides to swing while you're midway through a project and suddenly you're upside down on something that you still have to put tens of thousands of dollars into finishing, it's going to become really frustrating really quickly. So I'm not a big supporter of fixing and flipping. I'm also not a big supporter of long-term buy and hold, because frankly, it's just a lot of fighting, blood, sweat, and tears for $500 or $600 or $700 each and every month in leftover cash flow. That's just not cutting the mustard, guys. If you want to build real wealth, we have to get out there and develop these high-income skills that Dan Locke and I have been talking about. Be on the lookout for those videos with Dan Locke. They're phenomenal, and I think will give a much better context to why we're focusing on opportunities like Little Pink Houses of America. So to my right here is Michael Mathe. Once again, you guys are going to get used to seeing him here on the channel if you haven't already. Very important that you watch all the videos that we've shot together. Don't reach out via email. Don't ask for a consultation. Don't inquire about this opportunity until you've seen all of the videos. There's not many. I think we're still under 10 at this point. We're going to definitely cut probably another 4 or 5 today, and just keep giving you guys more detail based on the questions and the comments that we're getting every week. So I'm here to be as resourceful for you as I can be. I want to give you access to as much information as I can so you guys can make the most informed decision. Before we dive in today, by the way, today's video is all about a day in the life of a little pink houser, okay? So if you're going to get in and you're going to actually get to work, spending tens of hours per week, you probably want to know what you'll be doing. What's the day-to-day look like? So that's what we're going to talk about on this video. But before we get to that, I asked Michael to share this text message that he received. Was it today or yesterday?
It was actually just about 2 hours ago.
Okay, this blew my mind, guys. And you may remember Nick Fortune sharing that he was recognized in Rome at the Trevi Fountain because of the VIP Financial Ed channel. And the growth on this channel is just blowing my mind. We're at over 150,000 subscribers. We're soaring past that. We're on our way to 250,000 now. I can't wait to hit that. But the spread is what fascinates me the most. The fact that we are all in some way connected through 6 degrees is so mind-boggling. So tell them what happened.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys might remember a testimonial we did with Kyle Cook. He's one of our affiliates out of Jackson, Mississippi. We did a couple months ago, got great response.
Check out the video, guys. Yeah, we'll link it in the description.
Kyle's been killing it for a couple years. He's north of 50 deals at this point and quickly approaching 6 figures on it. I don't have the exact count. And he does it in a part-time capacity, which is really exciting. He's got multiple other streams of income. This is just one that he consistently does. He follows the blueprint. It's not rocket science, but he's a guy that's been with us for a couple years and has been very successful with it. So he sends me a text this morning. I didn't even know he played college baseball. Maybe I should have known that, but the text said, "What's up, Kyle? Hopefully life has been good for you over the last 25 years.
This is the text that Kyle received.
Yes. Late last night, I was watching videos from VIP Financial Ed, as I often do, and all of a sudden you pop up. I've been watching the videos and I'm very interested in the Little Pink Houses of America concept. I was wondering if I could call you to get your take on it. Looking forward to opportunities to possibly invest in real estate. This seems like a good fit. Let me know. Thanks. And again, hope all has been well with you. Take care.
Isn't that amazing? 25 years he hasn't heard from this guy, and all of a sudden he sees him on our channel. So it's so cool, guys. Make sure you're a part of the Cash Flower community. Hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about how to blow up your cash flow. And one thing that you'll notice over the coming years is we're going to keep focusing more and more on asset and income growth, not just all the great strategic ways of attacking and eliminating mortgage and non-mortgage related balances. While that is a terrific way of creating massive amounts of safety and security, a great way of blowing your cash flow up too, it has a certain capacity. There's a maximum potential with paying off debt, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas when it comes to income and when it comes to your assets, I guess sky's the limit. I mean, it's from zero to Bezos, right? And if we know that the current world record of income is Jeff Bezos, we have a lot of room to grow, and we don't have nearly the same limitations that we do when we're focusing exclusively on paying off debt. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, which is really what does a day in the life of a little pink houser look like, right? If you were going to get involved with what is very similar to wholesaling, but it's a niche pocket of wholesaling. It's a niche pocket of kind of this subject to and being able to actually pair a buyer with a seller, and you're facilitating the transaction. And we go into all the detail of what this is and what this is not in the links below. So check the description for the other episodes of this playlist. But tell me a little bit about, this isn't for everybody. That's why I asked Michael to talk about the day in the life of, because it's most likely not a good fit for you. Okay, you're going to have to do your homework. But why is it that some people do real well with this and why some people don't? Tell us a little bit about what people do day in and day out with this.
Yeah, so we thought these were going to be good questions. These are common questions that I get when I field these phone calls or I do the follow-up to the VIP channel. Folks that are subscribers or coaching students that have an interest in our platform and moving forward as an affiliate or soon to be franchisee. So we're going to do multiple episodes today and address those. One of the biggest one is, what does the day in the life look like? Mm-hmm. Again, like he said, this is not for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. And I always go on record and say, this is not a get rich quick. This is not a passive strategy or a passive business model. If you think you can put in 2 hours a week, roll out of bed and be a millionaire doing this, we're not the right fit for you. It does require work. It does require time dedication. It does require following a specific blueprint. So one of the important factors to be cognizant of is from one day to the next, you never have to wonder what you're supposed to be doing. So there's not these questions rolling around in your head. So there's really only 4 main components to our business model. Working with sellers, getting houses under contract, FSBOs, expired listings are a huge demographic for us. We've got a call center in our corporate office that does those front-end phone calls for you. We can talk about that maybe a little bit more in a subsequent video where we're going to talk about really that corporate support. Then working with buyers, qualifying buyers. Now that's an inbound lead. So we've got a lot of very specific marketing. We've got an entire marketing team behind you from our corporate that manages your website, gets all of your inventory up there, helps you write ad copy. Through our CRM, we've got multiple streams where this inventory is being blasted out on. So working with sellers, doing follow-up there, going out to pick up contracts that in most cases have been preset for you, working with our marketing department. The key to marketing, as anyone knows, particularly you guys, is just being consistent. So you got to have your message out there all the time. You've got to have a good, proposition. Really, what your unique selling proposition is. Ours is selling homes on lease terms, lease to own, executive lease purchase. So those catchphrases that don't exist out there are what we really want to hone in on. That is what attracts that buyer to us. They know they can't walk into the bank. They can afford an executive level home. They certainly have a down payment. But for those reasons, self-employed, sometimes credit, they can't walk into the bank. So those are the buyers that are going to be calling in. Mm-hmm.
So the actual affiliate, mm-hmm. the associate working with Little Pink Houses, the audience member listening right now that wants to get involved, mm-hmm. they are looking for buyers, and the buyers are reaching out to them.
That's
right?
correct.
And they're also looking for sellers,
right?
And the sellers are reaching out to them. Or they're reaching out to sellers?
We're actually reaching out to sellers. So part of the main heavy lifting, and I'll dive into this a little bit more, or I can go as deep as you'd like right now, is that we do that front-end lead generation. Mm-hmm. Our sellers, now we always encourage networking. making contacts in their local market with agents and brokers that are going to be a great lead source, and maybe we can talk about that later or expound on that. But that is an outbound effort made by corporate. So we've got a corporate call center where we're talking to FSBOs and expired listings on behalf of our affiliate franchisees all over the country.
Okay.
So they're getting kind of a detailed map in their market. This is where we're going to farm, and we're making those phone calls on their behalf. They're never even seeing a lead if these people are saying, we're not interested. That could not work for us. We need all of our cash right now. So that lead generation aspect is really the first touch on behalf of our affiliates, but it's made by corporate. So that is
not their responsibility.
That is not. And it's most people, whether you've been in sales or not, don't want a cold call.
That's the worst part, I would say.
Absolutely.
Okay, so reaching out to buyers then is done via mostly print copy?
It's mostly online. So a lot of email. Are
Craigslist ads? I mean, are you posting?
We sell a ton of houses off Craigslist. We sell a lot of houses off Facebook, social media, Zillow, any for sale by owner site, forsalebyowner.com, high-end kind of rental sites where we're offering terms. So there's 20 or 30 different websites out there that we typically tap into. Our website and our CRM are integrated with those websites, so it's kind of a plug-and-play scenario. The templates are already exist, and it's blasting out to the masses. At that point, John Q. buyer that meets our demographic, knows he can't walk into the bank. He sees a beautiful $400,000 or $500,000 house, depending on the market he's in, and he sees that it's being offered on terms. Most people have either been turned down by the bank in this capacity, or they just haven't even attempted because they know that they can't. Whether it's a credit issue, mostly in our world, it's self-employed demographic. They know that they make a lot of money. They've got too many write-offs. Their ratios are skewed.
Gross is bad.
Yeah, so that at that point would be an inbound lead. So that John Q. buyer is seeing the ad online or wherever that medium happens to be and calling in directly. That is a call that comes into our affiliate franchisees. We've got a very simple, very direct, very polite and professional script. It's typically 5 minutes or less. At the end of the day, the two important variables we want to get out of that, or questions answered, if you will, can they afford the monthly mortgage?
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And our monthly payments are going to be in line with what underlying mortgage payments are going to be when they ultimately get permanent financing. So we never want there to be sticker shock. We're not giving them some sort of sweetheart payment, and then when they go to the bank or they go through our funding resources,
it matches what they would be paying once they have a conventional loan.
That's exactly right.
And are you guys building in a margin in case rates go up? Are you considering the possibility of terms not being the same when that buyer is actually qualified?
We actually don't build that in. So a huge component, everyone can talk about appreciation, depreciation, rates fluctuating. All we do on every single deal is make the best deal between buyer and seller, and obviously for Pink involved, make the best deal we can with the facts as we know them today. Okay. So we don't anticipate depreciation or appreciation or depreciation. We don't anticipate or build in, fluctuation on rates, anything along those lines.
Right. You're not trying to speculate.
We don't speculate. We certainly don't want to borrow trouble.
Right.
So no one's got a crystal ball. And we say that, and you'll hear that a lot on these videos. None of us do.
Right.
So really what we're trying to determine is whether or not they can afford the mortgage payment, the monthly payment. Most importantly is we want to know if they've got a down payment. Our biggest requirement for every single buyer is that they're deep financially. We're looking for 5 to 10% down. They get full credit off the sale price of the home or the price that we ultimately negotiate with them. So when they do go get their permanent financing, obviously they're getting dollar for dollar credit. It comes off the sale price, leaving them a financeable balance of whatever that difference would be. Also, it applies to any down payment requirements. So depending on their loan product, whatever money they put down would go towards that, or closing costs and or both. So within that 5-minute qualification process by our affiliate franchisee, they're determining whether or not it's worth showing them the home. Okay. We don't parade people through houses. We don't hold open houses.
So do you have any field work? So on the day-to-day basis, are the little Pink Housers actually getting out into the field?
They are.
Okay.
Absolutely. So they are boots on the ground. Now, corporate does a ton of the heavy lifting, which is why this is very alluring to a lot of people.
Well, and that's why I wanted to make this video in particular, because we had some really terrific testimonials that you guys just have to check out. And people like Ton were talking specifically about the amount of support. You know, to me, that's what really struck me. I think that's necessary. If you're dealing with that type of kind of franchise model, and I use air quotes because they're still knee deep in finalizing their franchising, so it's not official yet. I do have to forewarn you guys that the price tag of getting involved with them is going to skyrocket once the franchise happens, which means if you're thinking about getting involved in something, if you want a sort of business in a box concept where really all the hard work, the systems and the processes have already been developed for you, scripts that actually work, copy that actually works has been written and designed for you, then you're going to want to get in before the price is double. That's just how smart people work, is we take advantage of opportunity when it's there. So make sure you watch the pricing video as well, which we'll link also in the description so you guys know what the current price tags look like. Just know that because of the demand, even just from this channel alone, the prices have been going up. So you guys, I keep trying to warn you, again, it's not for everybody. Most of you should not pursue this. If you think from what you're hearing that you're capable of doing these day-to-day activities, which by the way, are not hard, okay? As Bill Burr says, roofing in July as a redhead, that's hard work, okay? This is not hard work compared to that. This is confusing, it can be scary, it's more emotional, it's mentally challenging, but it is not gonna leave blisters on your hands, folks, which means that it's not hard work. It just means you've got to put in the time and you've got to be really consistent as you do with any business. So you've got to treat it as an entrepreneur. You've got to treat it as a real business that you want to build. And I, in all transparency, am not doing this myself. I'm not a part of Pink Houses as an affiliate or an associate myself. And the reason for that is I'm beyond it in terms of my revenues. My revenues are seven figures, multiple seven figures per year. Going out and trying to put in 10, 20, 30 hours a week to make $150,000 to $350,000 a month is not a good use of my time. From an efficiency standpoint, I would be going backwards. If you guys are in that $75,000, $100,000, $125,000 range in revenues annually, and you'd rather see it at $180,000 or $250,000 or $350,000 or more, and you want to put in 40 hours or less each week, even as few as what would you say? And I know we've talked about this on a previous video, and if I'm recalling correctly, it was somewhere maybe in the 10 hours, 15 hours range per week. That would be sort of a bare bones minimum.
That would be bare bones minimum. If you say I've got 5 to 10 hours a week, probably not the right fit for you. It's also going to be dependent on their expectations. So they've got to have realistic expectations based on time invested. If it's 10 to 20 hours a week, doing a deal or two a month is feasible. Yeah. If they're looking to scale from there, obviously they're going to have to scale the amount of time that they invest into it. So
you get out what you put in.
Yeah, it can definitely be a part-time effort. A lot of people that come on board with us are looking to supplement and or ultimately replace their income and transition into this full-time. So they only have part-time hours. The good thing about real estate, any type of real estate, is a lot of it's done after hours. So it could be a good side hustle. Yeah, after hours during the week, and obviously a lot of real estate's conducted on the weekend. So dedicating kind of larger chunks of time on Saturday and Sunday obviously is going to lend itself to your success. So kind of circling back to kind of the essence of this video. So they are going to be boots on the ground. We do a lot of the heavy lifting from corporate, but we're in Jacksonville, Florida. It's hard for us to do real estate transactions in Seattle, Washington without having boots on the ground there. We can facilitate them all day long. We can do the lead generation. We can do the marketing. We can help them qualify the buyer through our national lender. We ultimately have a closing coordinator. So they're going to be going out to seller houses to pick up contracts. They've got someone on standby from corporate that's helping them get that deal, regardless of the day or time. They're going out to show homes to qualified buyers off of the marketing that we work with them on. They're handling those phone calls. They've got a specific script. At that point, they're scheduling showings, just like a realtor would, for example. Now, our contracts and document sets, regardless of what state you're watching from, don't require you to be an agent or broker. And we talked about that.
We'll do a separate video on that.
Yeah, so they would be showing homes along the same lines as picking up a contract from a seller. We've got a representative from corporate that's available when they're out there showing a home. And we'll dive into this a little bit more in our corporate support video, but they're never alone on any of these, particularly during the early days when they are going through that learning curve. At that point, they've written a formal offer. They're turning it over to corporate. And again, I'll talk about this in a subsequent video, but we actually take the deal across the finish line. We negotiate final terms and conditions between both buyer and seller. And then the last responsibility for our affiliate franchisees, which is probably the most exciting for them and the one they're all looking for, is they do actually have to show up to the front end or soft closing and pick up a nice check. So if that
probably don't get a lot of arguments on that one.
If that scares them off, probably not the right fit.
Okay. So really cool opportunities from what I can see here, folks. Again, I'm not doing it, so you're going to have to do your own homework. But everything you've told me, if I were getting started in business, I would be pursuing. But here we are 20 years down the road in business, so I'm not. And I hope that we keep pulling success stories in. Guys, we're starting to collect reviews and testimonials from you, our audience on YouTube, to show you firsthand that there's a lot of people just like you that are sitting here watching this video that have gotten started and are having great success. In fact, first thing this morning, Michael came out. So Michael came out yesterday, stayed the night, and then this morning comes out from his room and said that one of you guys just locked down an $800,000 contract. So the stuff is happening right in front of us. And
he's about less than 2 weeks in.
There you go. So 2 weeks in and already pulling in an $800,000 deal. Now tell me a little bit about that. Does that mean he has an opportunity to earn hundreds of thousands on that deal?
So that's going to fall right into our business model. Gentleman happens to be in New York. He's actually North Jersey, and off the top of my head, he's got kind of a market up there, and I don't know specifically where this house was. Put a house under contract, $800,000.
Okay.
Cost him $0.
What could he pull out of that if everything goes perfectly?
Realistically, on a house of that at that price point, we would be disappointed if he made any less than, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on that deal.
Folks, guys, we keep saying it, $15,000 to $30,000 a month is typical. The average payout to you on one deal is $15,000, which means if you did 2 deals in a month, the average payout is going to end up totaling somewhere around $30,000 to you per month. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great place to start. When we're talking about high income skills, it is transactional, which means that if you don't put the time in, you're not getting paid. And we do want to eventually transition that income through the wealth pyramid, which is what Dan Locke and I were talking about, from a high income skill to a scalable business and then back down into investments where you're growing equity and net worth. So it's a starting point, right? We want to start with that high income skill so that we can build it and scale. And we're going to talk a little bit today on another episode about building teams and doing something like what Ton is doing, where you really can turn this into a scalable business for yourself. But I think that's going to wrap up today's episode on what does a day in the life of a little pink houser look like. Guys, this demographic, by and large, are really great candidates for this. You guys are more savvy, you're more mature. Most of our audience are nearing the late 20s, going into their 30s and beyond. So our age demographic, compared to a lot of the channels on YouTube, is a little bit older, a little more experienced, and you're more serious. You're doing well financially, you just want to be doing even better financially. And I think this is a great side hustle or even a great primary way of bringing in income. So hopefully it works out for some of you. Again, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe now. Be sure to check out every single video that Michael and I do together before you reach out. But once you do that and you are ready to take the next step and have a little more information provided to you on a one-on-one level, go ahead and send an email to pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. We'll throw that link in the description below as well. Again, that's pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. You have to make sure and include your name, full name, first and last, and direct contact phone number to be reached out to. We don't reach out, or Michael and his team won't reach out if we don't have a direct phone number. So please don't just send blank emails. We're getting a couple of those, and never really makes much sense to me. Lastly, please do drop a like on this video and let us know that you want us to be continuing to bring you resources like this. The reason that we continue to feature people like Michael, and especially Michael, so often is because of the unbelievable potential with this. It's not often that we find our way into side hustles or high income skills or streams that can realistically bring in tens and tens of thousands per month. And I think that's really cool. So if you guys want us to do more of that, you got to let us know. Also drop a comment below. What other questions have we not yet answered for you regarding Little Pink Houses of America? What concerns might you have? The last concern that was sent over to us by a gentleman named Luke, we actually addressed head on. He had concerns about the past with Michael's partner, Scott. We brought Scott into Colorado and addressed it head on. Guys, I'm your advocate. Okay, even though Michael and his team sponsor VIP, it does not mean that we are loyal to our sponsors. We're loyal to you, our audience. And I think that's what's going to keep this channel growing as fast as it has. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Until then, make it a great day and yeehaw!